Hi there, Smoke Master D coming at you again with another barbecue buyer's guide. This time to reverse flow vertical cabinet smokers. All right, exciting times. All right, and I have a few chapter times here. If you would please like this video, subscribe to the channel. I'm always putting out these barbecue buyer's guides. I do countdowns too. So check out all those things on the channel. And with these chapter times, you can skip around to see which parts you want. And let's get into it. All right, so a few starting notes. We're only looking at the reverse flow cabinet smokers. There's a lot of cabinet smokers out there that are direct flow or they're offset. And these are only ones that are the reverse flow that are $3,500 and under. I have one that's a little bit above that, but I made an exception. But if you have a budget above 3,500, Ironside smokers looks really interesting. Maybe I'll put them in a video someday. So T and K are still not accepting new orders. I reached out to Big D's, but he didn't reply. So those are two other makers that are in the Midwest. Boathouse Smokers wasn't included either because they don't really fix their prices. They are kind of so custom that it's hard to include them in a show like this. Also, lastly, some numbers in the charts may be estimations. A lot of times it's from the actual companies themselves. They estimate the weight or something like that, just so you know. All right, and here we have the reverse flow cabinet smoker, and these are the basics. So down there at the bottom, we're going to have some sort of air intake. Could be a ball valve, it could be some sliding mechanism there. And we're going to have that charcoal firebox. People can put wood chunks in there so that it can make some more smoke flavor. This is the important part. Where the heat and smoke goes next is in a cavity that's actually around the upper chamber. So it's going to be going up those side walls, the back wall too, up until it comes around through the top. Now there may be some like little holes in the chamber, so that is a possibility as well. But it's going to go up and it's going to come to the top and then it's going to flow back down. Now, those holes in the center column there are for the exhaust. So the smoke and heat has to go all the way back down to the bottom where that exhaust is, and then back up through the exhaust to the top. All right. So it's kind of a lengthy ways it has to go. It's got to go up, down, and then back up. Right. And one of the things that's going to do is it's going to even out the heat in certain ways. Now, your hot spot is probably going to be on the top with this style, right? So, you might have a slate hot spot in the top. The water pan down there, the bottom, is usually going to help even some of those temperatures out. It could create, though, like a lower temperature down there. As we know, water boils at around 212 degrees. That is how it works. It's kind of a fridge style there. You open the doors, get your meat there on the grates, the shelves, add more charcoal if you need to. And those are the basics of the reverse flow cabinet smoker. All right, and here we have four of the companies that we're going to be looking at. Now, these ones are the ones that produce smokers here domestically in the United States, right? So we have Cascade out there in Oregon. So, if you're on the West Coast. Now, again, the reason why I show these maps is because your proximity to some of these places will determine a shipping price. Keep that in mind. I don't discuss shipping in any greater length here. There is some free shipping for some of these ones, especially the imports. Consider that you're going to have to pay a little bit to get it to where you want it. Backwoods Smoker is down there in Louisiana, right close to Texas. So if you're in that area, that can be good. 270 Smokers is right up there in Virginia, so the East Coast, and Humphreys is up there in Maine, so Northeast kind of area. All right, and we're going to start off our overviews with Sweet Swine O Mine Distributing. And they produce the red box smoker with firebox insert for $299.99. Now, the one thing about this smoker is that it is taken directly from Backwoods Smokers, who we haven't gotten to yet, right? The owners of Sweet Swine O Mine, they went and talked to the owners of Backwoods Smokers, bought the plans. They seem to have a very close relationship with them overall. They're buds. I don't know. But this style smoker, Backwoods stopped making, according to their website, Sweet Swine O Mine. And to make it economical, to make it work, they took it overseas and made an import. And here it is. It is the cheapest one on our list. All right, and here is a little bit about what it looks like inside. Now, you see those holes at the bottom, so remember that's where the exhaust is. There doesn't seem to be an ash catch that I could see on this plan here, so you're going to probably have to sweep out those ashes on the bottom. You see the water pan, you see the racks. There's an air damper there. I couldn't get a really good look at what the damper actually looks like on the un- underside. So I guess that you can push that back and forth, and there's a damper system on the bottom. You can see the hole on top. They have a video of them installing I think it was a barbecue guru air fan. You have to drill through the side. You can do that if you want to. All right, and there is the Guru adapter. So just two accessories here. That adapter is $40. So if you have a Guru, the diffuser plate is $18.10. And you see they've got those tabs there that you can bend down or back up to increase or decrease. Now that actually fits in right where they have that water pan. So you can actually make this a direct flow, get higher temperatures by putting in that diffuser plate. So something to consider if you want to, ramp up those temperatures. Can be especially good for cooking something like chicken where you want to crisp up that skin. All right, and now we have Titan Great Outdoors. So they make a lot of stuff. They've tried their hand at making a lot of stuff too. They had a reverse flow offset smoker that I came upon while making this. I don't think they make it anymore though. There was one in the scratch and dent section of their website. So, yeah, this is interesting that they would decide to journey into this vertical reverse flow smoker, but they have one and it's $684.99. See, they have a turn handle there, some very small wheel casters on the bottom. And we see that they have a water pan in there. They have a handle on the side. Probably have to install that yourself. They have the exhaust down there. It looks like just one big hole. Four racks. It looks like they might have put an extra one in this picture, even though I believe it only comes with four racks. Uh, so carbon steel firebox and ash pan. Now that's one thing to consider when we think about these things. What are the components made of? Of course, stainless steel costs more. You see that there is some stainless steel here in uh, in those grates, maybe in the on the door and in the inner part there. All right, and going on to big wood cooking. So we have the Bigwood Smoker, and it is $699.99. They made a double stack, which is going to be $1299.99. All right, and when we look at the Big Woods cooker, we see that it has a few different holes there for the exhaust holes, stainless steel firebox, and ash pan. Just so you know, stainless steel is better. And having those components in the firebox is probably good. Probably a good thing. You have the air intake there. It's a slide, very large thermometer, so you can. It's a good thing to like for that. Slam latches, so far we've only seen turn latches. So that is also sort of nice. All right. And then when we get to the double stack, we see that it's passed through there. So there's no bottom in that top part, right? So the heat travels all the way up. You can see, those holes there. It looks like there's 6 on the back side there of the inner chamber. They have these great back bars that are there to keep the balance when you're pulling the racks out and to keeps anything from falling off the back. So that's nice. A larger firebox for this double stack as well. All right, and they have some accessories. Now, the cart and the cover, I believe they'd sold out of. By the time you watch this, maybe that won't be true. Maybe they'll be back in stock. The cart was 119, the cover 28.99. They seem to like to do a lot with magnetic kind of attachments. So magnetic hooks, 1856, and a magnetic foil holder, 965. Now, I don't know if that's long enough. I usually get the longer aluminum foil, so I wonder if that would fit on that rack or not. All right, and here we are with Backwoods Smokers. So, the main or the smallest one there is going to be that Chubby 3400 that comes out to 929. It has free shipping, so that's nice. It is an import. Strangely enough, Backwoods has been making these things for a while. They are actually, I think, the inventors of this reverse flow system. They've been doing it so long, in fact, that I believe their patent ran out, and that's why we have all these other companies to talk about today. But like I said, I think they invented it, and they decided to go with importing some as well. Maybe when the whole red box smoker thing happened, maybe they decided, hey, we'll import some too. And this Chubby 3400 is one of those, and the G3 Chubby there is also imported, and it's 1249. Now, there is a G2 Chubby that is not imported and is made in the United States. So apparently that difference is $300 in being made here as opposed to being made there. And that is 1549. They are mostly the same in other regards. The one thing that is different is that the import has stainless steel on the interior walls, whereas the domestic one has carbon steel. So the stainless steel is a little bit better, and just for keeping clean, just for not corroding, all of that stuff. Then we also have that G2 Party. Okay, so it's going to have a longer back, 2845. Now, it would be really great to have a little bit more room lengthwise just for ribs and briskets. Using some of these cabinet smokers that you're going to have to cut down and trim down. We also have the Fatboy for the G2 line, and I think that it's actually wider just for that. It has 2-inch insulation, so it's thicker insulation. It's going to hold some heat better. It's this one at least has the aluminum door. I think that that might be an add-on price. But yeah, 28.90 there for the base. All right. So, like I said, the stainless steel interior for the imported smokers, I believe it's an upcharge. Otherwise, though, very similar design to the Big Woods. I believe Big Woods probably copied this design fairly closely when they were making theirs. So, Backwoods is the originator. Big Woods Big Woods and Backwoods, they're almost, you know, it's strange how close Big Woods and Backwoods look and sound. So yeah, it's strange. But yeah, and you see the long pan there, the pans for the firebox, uh, well made Backwoods smokers. All right, and here we have on the left, these are the only upgrades available to the imports, and it's probably going to increase the amount of time you're waiting for them. But you can add casters, which they always are saying that it adds like 6 inches to the smoker, but that's $171. If you want to buy them separate and put them on yourself, that's $159. The cover for the Chubby line is 90, 102 if you add it to the order. So that was strange, and I just noticed that on their website. I'm not sure why it would be more to add it to the order than to order it separate. Maybe it has to do with the shipping. I don't know. The cover for the party is 105, the Fatboy 115. So we have a drip guard here. They call that a basting tray several other places, but for the Chubby and the party, which I believe have the same width, it's going to be 38. For the Fat Boy, it's 48. Stand instead of the feet. So if you want to put it on a stand, it's 175. Removable stand is 320. And if you want stainless steel door upgrades, you can call. I didn't call, but you can call. All right, and now we're on to Humphrey's Smokers. So I have covered this company before when I did gravity fed smokers. It's interesting that they decided to take all their knowledge about this reverse flow design and put it into a gravity smoker. If you want to see my episode on that, I'll probably put a link up there at the top of your screen. Now, they started out with their standard smokers, and the Battlebox, I believe, was the first one. It is now $24.95. They also have the Pint, which is $29.95. The Qube'd Box, which is $28.50. Then they came out with their Weekender series, which we have the Weekender for $16.95, and we have the Long Weekender for $22.95. And the difference that they explain is that they don't have the same sort of internal frame for these weekenders that they have for their standard, right? So they bend this sheet metal, and they have bends in specific places and specific ways to give that steel integrity that is not an actual frame. Okay. So yeah, they're able to make a cheaper product that way, and maybe it's something that you're going to want over their more expensive ones. So good for them. And looking at the Weekender a little bit closer, you have that daisy wheel intake damper, slam latches here. We see the water pan. It doesn't come with casters, right? No casters are standard to it. The smaller Weekender, I think, you might be able to pick up and move around that way because of the weight. We'll get to the weight in the charts, so take a look there. I lightened up that area in the back just because I like to see where the exhaust is. Carbon steel there on the inside there, but they're going to have upgrade prices soon. And here we have the standard. Now, the standard has some interesting features. It does come with casters. It has those 6-inch casters, and it has the ball valve there on the side, the air intake. Okay, so different from the Daisy wheel, right? It also comes with 2 probe ports standard. Now that's more probe ports than you're going to see anywhere else. There are dark spots in the back which may be holes of some sort for heat to come out at different places. So it's not all coming from the top. I don't know that for certain. If you do know, however, please comment below in the comment section. Okay, what I really want to talk about though is this plate that blocks the firebox area from the main chamber. You can remove it. So you can put it down on the bottom, like in the firebox area, and then put the water pan down. Then you can take it out and raise the water pan. Now, the main benefit of raising the water pan is you can slide the water pan out on those runners there. So you can pull the water pan out, add the water, push it back in. So you don't actually have to put your hands or your water container into the smoker for that to happen. One thing that you can do with these things is you can take out that plate altogether and just have heat coming straight up. Now, the one thing that I would be careful about for this is making this chamber too hot, right? I believe they only recommend temperatures up to 400 degrees. So, you can do a little bit of searing with that, so that's okay. But the hotter you go in this inner chamber, the more chances of warping something, damaging something. So if they say only 400 degrees, I would be careful with that. And of course, if you have one of these and you have some experience with that, please let us know in the comments. All right. And they have a lot of upgrade options. And I have put most, if not all of them here. They've got that pick and stick all in one tool, 29.95. The performance plate, right? So if you're bummed out about that daisy wheel and you're like, man, I want to use my Guru or other fan system, you can buy this performance plate that they can put in there, and it's 125.95 for the 2-inch ball valve. 3/4 inch ball valve is 99.95, and then you can add that fan or Guru, or just use the ball valve to control the air, make it easier that way. Stainless racks. Now, apparently, I think they have the same rack for everything. So I'm not entirely sure how they did it, but the width of their smokers seems to be pretty consistent all the way through. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but it's $70 for one, 120 for two, 165 for three, and then 200 for four. So the more you buy, the less they are individually. Rib rack 49.95. The Weekender cart, okay? So 6-inch hard rubber wheels for 395, 8-inch flat free wheels for 649. Let's go down and look at some other things. The rolling platform, right? If you want to move this thing around, 6-inch hard rubber wheels for 204, 8-inch flat free for 349. The compound legs with the wheels is 299 for the hard rubber and 399 for the 8-inch flat free. Having that height is going to bring it up. It's going to be easier to get into the smoker. So, the cart is a lot nicer for that, but it's going to make it more expensive. So you have to keep that in mind. The covers, so choices of gray, black, or coffee. The Weekender 119.95. Weekender with cart 149.95. Long Weekender 129.95. That charcoal snake maze for the Weekenders 29.95. They took pictures of the snake snaking its way around, which good of them to do that. So there it is. All right, and the standard smokers, also a lot of upgrades. So caster upgrades. Single 8-inch casters, if you don't want the six, is 249. The duelli, and I've never seen that word in my life, but apparently, it's two casters side by side on one kind of place, is 399. Triple 8-inch for 469. If you want a stainless grab bar, 95 for one, two for 150. So better value there. The Battle Wagon. All right. One fixed counter for $699. One fixed and one removable counter for $799. So, yeah, you can put your standard smokers on those kind of carts. The basting tray, remember I mentioned it before, $56. And it is actually something that you put on over the door, the top of the door for the firebox. So $56 on that. Feed option. Now, this would be especially, if you wanted to mount it on a trailer, you could have these feet to keep it up and bolt it down. So 4-inch feet and 8-inch feet. And it's all the same price, strangely enough, or 6-inch compound angled feet, all 125, whichever you want there. All right. Now they have a gadget shelf and they have some different options for that. Now you'll notice that they put the gadget shelf right next to where they have their probe ports, so that's really nice. 124.95 for just the shelf. If you add the towel rack, it's going to be 149.95. With the paper towel holder, it's 179.95. Which you see the picture there on the bottom. Okay, the covers, they have the same color options, but for the Battle Box, it's 129.95. The Pint, it's 139, and the Cubed, it's 139.95 there. Now, for stainless, there's a lot of stainless upgrade options. For the cook chamber, okay, for the Battle Box, 349, for the Cubed Box, 399, and the Pint, 399. Entire door, so that's the front and the inside of the door. It's going to be 349 for the Battle Box, 399 for both the Cubed and Pint. Only the inside. It's going to be 199, and it's not available that I saw for the Cubed. You could probably call them and ask. I don't know why they put some things on their website and some things they don't. The face frame is going to be 249 for the Battle Box, 295 for the Cubed, and 249 again for the Pint. And then for the top, so if you want stainless steel on the top, it's 195, 299, or 195. And I guess that Cubed Box has a larger top, so that's why it's the 229 there. All right, and now 270 smokers. We've got the Hollywood for 2430 and the KC Kansas City for 3540. So this is the one smoker I went a little bit above my price ceiling for that extra $40 there. I just wanted to have both of them in here, you know. So that's what I did. All right. Now they have some different style handles, and maybe these pictures were taken at different times when they had different ways they were making them. So we have, some handles with those little holes. We have some that are bars. Whatever you get, if you buy from them, may be different. I'm not sure. But there is definitely some design components that are different with the 270 smokers than any of the others. And you probably can see that just by the shape, right? The shape is so that the convection happens in a certain way. And you might even argue that these are not reverse flow smokers in the same way as the others are. And the main reason you would argue that is because they don't have a plate keeping the hot air and taking it to the top of the smoker. That sort of protrusion in the front is actually what does that, right? So it comes around that bend and it goes all the way to the top in that area there and then back down around. So there's less kind of holding it in place. It's more of a sort of a natural flow that way. And I actually think that that might make for better convection. So there you see over here on the right-hand side where the opening is, looking in, you can see right above the bottom of the door where that heat is coming up and hitting the door, okay? So that door hopefully is gonna be able to withstand that heat, and it's gonna come up around. Those racks, they don't come all the way out to that protrusion. They go straight up in a line there. So there is an area there that's not used for cooking, that's just for the heat to come up to the top, right? And then it's going to circle back down to where they have the intake at the bottom. And so you see that there. So it tumbles around the chamber and finally goes up and out the smoker. It looks like it's a little bit angled. I'm not entirely sure what that is for. Now, there's another interesting thing here as well. At the top of the exhaust, there are two different exhausts. Okay. There is actually a second exhaust at the top of the smoker. Now, you can switch around that plate at the top and it will allow you to change which exhaust you're using. Now, if you change it, that heat and smoke is going to go straight to the top and it's going to go right over your food and create a hotter, more direct heat environment. So, really kind of ingenious on the family that makes these 270 smokers and how they set all of this up. I really like this thing. I know that it's a little bit different from the others, but it's really cool. I think that they've patented this whole system, which means that, they're the only ones who are making it. All right, and they do have some upgrades and accessories. Now, you can get that Iron Man shield there for $79 and the intake shield for 68. And I recently cooked on my pit barrel cooker and there were 20-degree gusts that really messed with the cooking, I think, you know. If that wind goes by, it's either going to push more air in than you want or it's going to create negative pressure and keep air from going in. So, really not good because when you're smoking something, you want consistent airflow and heat. So, wind is definitely going to be something to consider in smoking, and these two accessories are going to handle that for you. The Fu Man shoe up there is just kind of a stopper there that's going to help. You know, if you have this thing on floors you don't want to mess up. If you keep it outside, probably not super important. The indexed slicer for $112 is just going to help you cut. These people, I think that they're really into the competition scene. So they have some stuff that's just really good for making that work really well. And I think the slicer is one of those. The wolf tray, okay, is going to allow you to. Actually, I don't know what the wolf tray does. Oh no. Um, the Northwoods rack. So if you want to smoke some sausages, the burnt ends brisket jig for 68.50. I like that. You know, if you want to cut off that part of the point and make burnt ends and you want all the slices to be kind of cubed, again, you know, if you're just doing this in your backyard, why would you really do that? You know, you just want to eat it, but if you're presenting it to a judge, it could be useful that way. The wheeled shocks could be useful anytime just to keep your smoker where it's supposed to be. Those two for $34. The smoker wheel upgrade kind of makes it more of a cart instead of wheelbarrow, 495. And I think that's just for the KC. I don't think they do that for the Hollywood. All right, and here we have the Cascade Smokers, the Que-Meister for 24.95 and the Que-Deville for 28.95. Now, I should mention that the cart that you see here with these smokers does not come standard. There's some companies that put out pictures and they hardly ever make the standard, so they don't really have a lot of pictures of it. So, the 6-inch wheels are standard, and you'll see that in a second. Out there at the bottom, 6-inch casters are standard for these things. And you know, the T-Maze is also standard. Heat diverter plate. So I believe that you can take that out, maybe like what you can do in the Humphreys. Not entirely certain about that. There is a slide out water pan, so that is looking a lot the same as the Humphreys. So it may be the same all around. No tip rack guides. So I believe this may be the only one we have like that. Maybe the 270. I'd have to go back and look at those rack guides, but definitely out of several others. So you know it's not going to tip at all because the guides are on the complete bottom and the complete top. Those stainless steel racks there are an upcharge though, so it's going to be for standard. It's going to be a little bit more like the picture on the right with the expanded metal. Uh, Side handle though, one side handle and the D rings do come standard, as well as the 2-inch ball valve. So a lot of things coming standard on the Cascade smokers that aren't on some of the other ones. The basting tray is also standard, so you know altogether, a lot of things that are adding up in extra value. So we'll see some of that in the charts. All right, and we've got the probe ports, $75 each for a stainless steel side table, $275. I think it goes down and back up again. Now, this is what I think the interior grease drip diverter is. That stainless steel piece of metal across there. Couldn't really figure that one out. But if that is it, it's $50 extra. Additional side handle for $50 as well. And the cart is $400. Now, I don't have quite as many upgrades here as some of the others, and part of that was these were just a few that were sent in an email. Took them a little bit to get the email to me. So I know that there's a lot more that Cascade offers, but they don't have a whole lot of them on their website. No prices on the website. So this is what I was able to get you. And now we're on to charts. Okay, the import price. So, red box down there, 299.99. Then the Titan 684.99. Big Woods single 699.99. The Chubby 34 929. The Generation 3 Chubby at 1249, and then the Big Woods double stack 1299.99. All right, and a note about equalization. So I'm going to give you both. For most cases, the equalization as well as just regular base prices. But certain ones of them have different stuff that's standard. So I've added the prices onto others to try to make it a little bit more equal. It's not going to be exactly equal. 270 has handles, wheels, and doesn't offer a basting tray, and it doesn't need one because of that the way that it juts out like that. So it's not really going to be adjusted at all. The Humphreys standard ones are going to have $151 for the basting tray and the handle. Humphreys Weekender for the rolling platform. There isn't an option for a tie down or handle, so it's just going to be 204. Backwoods add 256 for the tie down handles and the casters. Cascade plus 75 for a pro port. Humphreys includes two standard. Now, you know, I added the 75 for the pro port. None of the other ones, I think, have pro ports. So even though it is a little bit more equal, it's not completely equal. I did my best. So there it is. All right. And this is the base order for the domestic price. I'm also giving you the equalized ones as the darker there. And so you see that the Backwoods G2 Chubby is the first one there at the lowest price. And it is still behind the Weekender, the Long Weekender, the Hollywood, the Humphrey, Battlebox, the Que-Meister, the Backwoods G2 Party, the Qube'd Box, Backwoods G2 Fatboy, then the Que-Deville, Humphrey Pint, and then the KC at the end. And things are going to switch around a little bit when we go equalized order. So the Backwoods Chubby there, and then the Weekender, I think that's the same. The Hollywood has jumped over a few as the Long Weekender there at 2,499. Then the Que-Meister. The Que-Deville has come over several places, which, having those things standard helped with that. The Battle Box is next. Then the Qube'd Box is the same price with those extras. The Backwoods G2 Party, then the Backwoods G2 Fatboy, the Humphrey Pint, and the KC. All right, and now we've got the imports, inches squared. So that red box lowest, then the Backwoods, the Chubby 34, then the Titan, then the Big Woods double stack, and then the G3 Chubby. All right, and then the Weekender for domestic inches squared is going to be the least. The Pint, Battle Box, then the Long Weekender, the Que-Meister, the Hollywood, then the KC, then the Qube'd Box, the Backwoods G2 Chubby, the Que-Deville, the Backwoods G2 Fatboy, and then the Backwoods G2 Party. The import, dollar per inches squared. We've got the Titan there at 63 cents. Red Box at 70. The Chubby 34 at 91. Backwoods single at 91 as well. The G3 Chubby at 92. And the Backwoods double at 102. And then the domestic dollar per inches squared. Backwoods G2 Chubby. Backwoods G2 Party. G2 Fatboy. Then the Que-Deville, the Qube'd Box, the Hollywood, the Long Weekender, the Que-Meister, Humphrey Battlebox, the Weekender, the KC, and the Humphrey Pint. Okay, and now with equalization prices, it's the G2 Chubby, the G2 Party, G2 Fatboy, Que-Deville, Qube'd Box, the Hollywood, the Long Weekender, the Que-Meister, the KC, the Weekender, the Humphrey Battlebox, and the Humphrey Pint. So I think the DeVille went over a few spaces. Okay, the KC went over a couple places. The Weekender not looking so great over there. Okay, and now wait, and I actually decided to do these all together. We've got the red box, the Big Wood single, the Chubby 34, G3 Chubby, and the G2 Chubby. Now this is interesting. They're supposed to be the same one, but it's 145 and 160. I asked them at Backwoods about this, and they said that the stainless steel interior as opposed to carbon might have been part of the difference of those 15 pounds. But then we have the Big Woods double stack, the Weekender, the Titan, the Hollywood, the Long Weekender, the G2 Party, the KC, the Battlebox, G2 Fatboy, the Qube'd Box, the Humphrey Pint, Que-Meister, and the Que-Deville. Okay, an import dollar per pound. The Titan, number one at 396. Red Box, 441. Chubby 34 at 715. The Big Woods double stack at 765. The G3 Chubby at 861. And the Big Woods small last at 875. Okay, and the domestic dollar per pound. Okay, so the Que-Meister 548. The Que-Deville at 551. The Battlebox 768, the Pint 799, the Qube'd Box 814, the Fat Boy 850, the Chubby G2 Chubby 968, Weekender 980, the G2 Party at 1062, Long Weekender 1083, KC is 1124, and the Hollywood at 1157. So this is the equalized dollar per pound for domestic. The Que-Meister, Que-Deville, still the first two spots. The Pint, Qube'd Box, Battlebox, G2 Fatboy, Weekender, KC, G2 Chubby, the G2 Party, the Hollywood, and the Long Weekender. All right, and the import volume of the cooking chamber. So this isn't this is just above the firebox area. So that area. So we've got the red box there at 2,184 cubic inches. Bigwood Smoker single, Chubby 34, the Titan, the G3 Chubby, and the Big Woods double. And then we have the domestic one for the volume of the cooking chamber in cubic inches. So the G2 Chubby, the Weekender, the Hollywood, and I want to say something about the Hollywood and the KC. So I took the rack size and I multiplied it by the height. So that protrusion is not part of the volume. Okay, so I think that makes it a little bit more equal or less. It depends on how you're looking at it. But we have the Hollywood there, the Que-Meister, the Humphrey Battlebox, the Long Weekend, the Fat Boy, the Pint, the Qube'd Box, the KC, the G2 Party, and then the Que-Deville up there with the most space. All right, and now the import dollar per inches cubed. 14 cents for the red box, 15 cents for the Titan, 20 cents for the Big Woods single, 22 cents for the Big Woods double, 26 cents for the G3 Chubby, and then 26 cents as well for the Chubby 34. We have the Que-Deville. Okay, so now the domestic dollar per inches cubed. The Que-Deville there at 29. Long Weekender as well at 29. G2 Party at 31 cents. The Chubby at 32 as well. The Qube'd Box at 32. Weekender at 34. The Pint at 34. The Fat Boy at 36. The KC at 40. The Battlebox at 40. The Que-Meister at 42. And then the Hollywood at 46. So not a huge spread there. Of course, there's a lot more inches cubed. So, And now Equalized, we still have the Que-Deville up there. Then the long weekender, the G2 Party, the Qube'd Box, Humphrey Pint, G2 Chubby, the Weekender, G2 Fatboy, the Casey, the Que-Meister, the Hollywood, and then the Humphrey Battlebox. All right, and now to everything kind of pulled together. So this is a 10-point scale that I used for all three of these, and I averaged them together. All right. And in first place, we have the Titan, 9.75. We have the Red Box, 913. The Big Wood Small, 262. The Chubby 34 at 205. The Big Woods Double Stack at 198. And lastly, the G3 Chubby. All right, my thoughts on imported reverse cabinet smokers. All right, it's the best budget imported cabinet, and that would be the Titan Great Outdoor Reverse Flow Vertical Smoker. Now, there's one thing about this smoker, I was never able to find out what the air intake was, so that kind of bugged me a little bit. Titan is a company that seems to be, really big into importing stuff. I don't really know if I value them as their quality being the best. Would this thing probably work? I think so, but something about them makes me a little uneasy. Now, if they wanted to send me one of these for free to try out, I would totally do that. Uh, and maybe it is worth it. So the Red Box Smoker, best for small family gatherings. I feel like they're a little bit more established, and their connection with Backwoods themselves makes me feel a little bit better about that. It is the smallest and also the cheapest, so that makes it good for some people. I like the G3 Chubby. I know that it came in last, but I do think it's the best faux domestic cabinet smoker out there. If I were going to put an import in anybody's hands, I think it would be Backwoods to get it right, So that's it. That's my thoughts. Okay, and now we're looking at the domestic 10-point average of dollar per pound, dollar per inches squared, and dollar per inches cubed. So, and this isn't equalized yet. So we have the Que-Deville up there at 866, the Big Woods G2 Chubby 699, the Party G2 632, the Qube'd Box 616, the G2 Fatboy 610, Que-Meister at 510, the Long Weekender at 485, Humphrey's Pint at 424, Humphrey's Battlebox 412, Weekender 409, the KC at 185, and the Hollywood Last at 131. All right, and now we've got the equalized version of the same. The Que-Deville still up there. It's at 889. Qube'd Box 602. The Party 569. Fatboy 554. The G2 Chubby 549. Que-Meister 537. Long Weekender 406. Humphrey's Pint 403. The Weekender at 280. The Casey at 255. The Hollywood at 212. And the Battlebox last at 165. And now my thoughts. So the best value under $3,000 is going to be that Que-Deville. It looks like they have really high quality and they have really good prices. Cascade surprised me. I had no idea, when I put all these numbers together. I have no idea who's going to come out on top. I did talk to the people at Cascade for a second, and the steel prices we're talking about, and he said that he was eating some of that cost and passing some of it on. I don't know if everybody else just passed all of it on. I'm not entirely sure how it came out that they're so much a better deal in value than their competitors right now. Maybe that's it. But at the moment, they seem to be the one to get. They are on the West Coast, so you'd have to figure in how much the shipping costs would complicate whether or not it's a better value than somebody on the East Coast if you're on the East Coast yourself. That would be what to figure out. The best value under $2,000 is going to be that G2 Chubby. Yeah. Um, and if you want to lower that price even more, you can get the G3. Overall design, I like 270 smokers. I think there's something really unique about them. Uh, I would love to own one, but being that they're as expensive as they are, I don't know that that's going to happen anytime too soon. So, 270 smokers look really good, and I would love to give them a try, but it could be a while before that happens. At any rate, I think all these smokers have the potential to make some really good food. And if you own any of them, please do share your review in the comments. Tell us what you like, what you don't like. Thank you so much for watching. You know what, y'all? Go get your smoke on.